Welcome to MH on 5, everything Miami Heat. So today we have Danny Fernandez. How you doing, guy?
Yo, everything's good. I'm excited for this.
Nice. All right, so now we're entering free agency and all that. Trades starting to happen. Trades start. Free agency starts in 3 days. Tomorrow trading starts. So let's see what we think about this. All right. So I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna give you a couple free agents. You tell me what you think if we should keep, leave them, or if we should keep them to trade. All right.
All right.
What do you think about Dragic?
But I think, dude, this guy, since he came real clutch in the playoffs. So the first thing, because everybody's saying, oh, keep the cap open for whatever, for Giannis or whatever this is. So you can either just give him the long contract because, I know, I don't want to say long, like a 2-year contract, overpay him first year, then, give him a normal amount. Or I don't think we should let him walk because unless we bring in this other guy that I want to talk about after. All right. So I think we should keep him. That's first priority out of all of them.
Yeah, I think Dragic is just gonna stay. Not only he's older, so I don't think we trade him. I don't think we let him walk. He's been on the Heat for 7 years. He got drafted in what? We got him in a trade from like
the Suns, I think it was. Yeah, 2015, I think.
So he's been with us for a couple of years. So I don't think we're gonna let him go. And not only like is he a good player, but Jimmy Butler likes him. So it'd be hard to let him go.
That's true.
Myers Leonard.
Ooh, I thought about bringing him back, but then this guy went on he was like, oh, I want to be on a contender, but I want to get like 20 to 25 minutes of play. And I was like, oof, bro. I don't think, as much as I want him to come back, for like a cheap price, because I think he liked the team in general, but I think a backup center, he would work on the team, but I don't think he would want to come back, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's just different from what he wants to what he wants because he wants lots of playing time, and we're fine. Like, we can do without him, but it'd be nice to have him at the same time. Like, he's good. He brings everyone's spirits up. He's like a hype man, but I don't know if we really need him if we want to win a chip. So it just depends for me. All right. Okay, I already know my answer for this. Jay Crowder.
Dude, a defensive monster. I found out this year. This guy, when I saw him on the Celtics before and the Grizzlies, no, the Celtics he was all right, and then the Grizzlies, I was like, damn, this guy can shoot. He started shooting well.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Everybody was like, oh, Iggy, and I was like, nah, it's Jay Crowder that was also the big part. So then it's almost the same thing as Dragic, but I think less important because in the playoffs, in the beginning, his threes were going in more. Then he got inconsistent in the finals and against the Celtics. So I think give him less money, but maybe like a team option of 1+1, just in case. Bring him in, but keep the cap open still.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I feel like he's a great guy. He's a pretty good shooter, I'll tell you that. But he is a defensive dog. He's a
Heat guy. That's all I'm saying. He was made for Heat culture.
Yeah, because he's been traveling around. He went from the Cavs he's been on a couple teams. He's been on Cavs.
He's gone around.
Celtics, Cavs. Who else? Grizzlies, and then that's it, right? And now the Heat.
Yeah, I think it was only 4. It might be a 5th, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
And his threes do come in clutch, but he's also getting it from he's getting 9 made shots out of 15. So, but
it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's decent what he kind of need. All right. Derrick Jones Jr.
As much as I would want him to stay, I'm pretty sure he's gonna get a lot of money from a young team the Bulls. The Bulls could use him. A team I'd say Grizzlies, but I don't think the Grizzlies would pay him. But a team like the Bulls or Hornets could use a Derrick Jones Jr. or maybe the Knicks to bring in some tickets, something like that.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I know he for sure has gotten interest from the Bulls for sure. I've heard about that. But he's averaging 8 point. He says he's averaging around 8.5 points a game. No, he's not a bad player. He's not the great. He's a pretty good defensive player, but he's just to me the main reason I think he's so popular amongst the Heat is because like he's a highlight player. You know, he always got them dunks. He's getting a couple. He's gotten a couple good blocks in, but I don't know if that's something the Heat will want to keep or use an asset to trade later on. But it could be either. All right, I'm gonna go
Mm-hmm.
with. I know so badly what I'm gonna do with him. Kelly Olynyk.
Kelly Olynyk. Oh, dude. I used to hate this guy because before when he started shooting threes, like I think like 2 years ago, like before, like in the beginning of his contract, the guy couldn't make the threes, and then he got more consistent. He was going on a run this year actually, and then he just like got no minutes, and I was like, oh. So I mean, I'm pretty sure the guy's gonna go into his contract. I would want them to trade them, but I really don't think they would. I'm not sure about it.
You don't think that they trade Kelly?
I want them to, but I don't think they would. I don't think they'll pull the trigger on it.
That's tough. 'Cause, I mean, I really want him to like. Okay, I love Kelly, but the thing that gets me is like he's a big man, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Like, yeah, he can shoot threes, but like my thing is he's like scared of the ball. So like he'll go in the paint, like because people always think, oh yeah, a dunk is like a flashy play or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's a smart play because like if I go in for a layup, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But Kelly is like afraid to go to the basket a little bit. So I mean, like if we just get like a big man that's like also good at like driving in, a little better driving in, a little better at dunking or whatever, just a little more confident of a big man. That's it. But I think they should keep him just to trade him. But all right,
There you go.
there are mixed feelings about him. But,
Yeah.
So what do you about Solo Hill? Keep him.
He got like I felt so bad because everybody was talking about Jay Crowder and Iggy the whole time. I was like, I mean, there's also Hill, but all right. And then, I mean, when I saw him play, I thought he was a good defender. I thought, but he wasn't like confident with the ball. So I mean, I think they're just gonna let him walk because I don't think there's any team that's like, oh, I want to Solomon Hill. So, but I don't know. I didn't see enough of him. I think.
Yeah, I wish he got like a little more playing time. What they could do is probably keep him at the start of the season, give him a little more playing time during the start, and then before the trade deadline ends, they'll probably trade him. Or depending on how he plays, he'll keep him. But I mean, he's not put into like clutch scenarios, so I can't say he makes clutch shots or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
he makes threes when he's got to. That's it. But I don't think he's driving the paint or anything. So I'd like to keep him to see how he plays, but I don't know. I can't say for sure.
Okay.
Now, so we've been watching the Heat for a while, right? So a couple years. How a lot of mixed feelings about this. How do you feel about UD returning for an 18th season with the Heat? You got a 2.5 million. How do you feel about
I respect it, honest. I mean, like I saw the reports on it, on Instagram. Everybody was like, "Oh, they should just give him a coach spot and all this." And I was like, I mean, it's to get the whole point is for him to get one more ring. To be honest, he was supposed to retire like 2 years ago. Then they brought him back for one more. Now he's back again. I think they're just pushing it so he gets the ring one more time. Let him go because not let him go, but I mean, then give him a job in the office. I think because he's there. He's played like 2 minutes. I think this whole year. I might be wrong about that, but I think they should just keep him. I enjoy, keep him on the bench. No one's. People are like, oh, keep it for an open, like a real player. I mean, who plays their 15th roster spot in a real game? I mean, you at least keep it there. Someone that's gonna mentor them. I mean, and all the players love the guy. I mean, he's the Heat guy. He's friends with Jimmy Butler. Everybody goes to him up for support. I say keep him until you get another ring.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. Like, I know in against the Lakers, game 2 when they lost, near the end of the game, Spo called the timeout, called everyone out, right? So, UD came out and started cursing all the players out. Boom! From there, started playing better. Jimmy said, "Hey, maybe UD should start cursing us out at the start of the game." started game 3 cussing them out. They won that game. Now, I mean, it's just a little bit of Jimmy Buckets like helping out there, but I mean, I don't know. I can't say for sure. It's better if you sign him as in a coaching position, but it can go either way because like I mean they're not paying him too much. Like 2.5 million is nothing for the Heat. So I mean I think it's smart keeping on a player because they do want to give him a final chip. His last chip was like in 2012 when we won against the Spurs, but I think they should keep him here. I think you're right. All right. So we got off our free agents. Now, what do you think about 2021's free agents or trading, right? So we've got DeMar DeRozan, we've got Harden, Serge Ibaka, Beal, Oladipo, Giannis. How do you feel about any of those? Is there anyone that comes to mind?
Look, ever since the whole rumor about Harden, I see the Harden in Miami, like the duo would work. Like you see, we have Jimmy Butler and Bam. You know, they clog the paint. To be fair, you know, they're in the paint the whole time, which is why we have a bunch of shooters. Why have a bunch of shooters when you can have literally probably one of the best shooters in the game right now in James Harden? I mean, imagine you have Jimmy Butler who doesn't need the ball. You know, he's not like a Kyrie Irving or Russell Westbrook that want the ball in their hands the whole time. You know, he's a pass first guy. Pass it to Harden in the back when you and Bam are in the front right now. Like they make most of their shots there also. So you know, that trio would be kind of, you know, it would destroy the East. It would destroy the league right now. That and then Gallinari. I'm not sure if you said it. So Gallinari is a big one that I thought because I mean, right now, I think it was in the playoffs. It was Dragic, Robinson, Bam, Jimmy Butler, and Crowder. Right. The problem what I thought was, you know, Dragic and Robinson. You know, they can shoot the three. Then you had them three always in the paint, which I thought was like the one part. You know, you just double team Robinson, and then hope Dragic misses the three, or you just clog. You stop Butler and these people. But if you have Gallinari, you have three people in the paint, and then you have two all-stars right there in the paint. I mean, wait, three outside you know what I mean? The three out there and then two there in the paint. I think that's more realistic because I think if we trade for Harden, it's gonna cost like all our youth and the first round pick that we have this year. So as much as the trio would be, actually, yeah, I would do the trade. I would trade out I'll trade Tyler Hero and these people for Harden. To be fair, because I mean, I see the deal like Oladipo. You include here. I was like, bro, that's a shit trade. To be fair, because you know Oladipo, he's better at defense, obviously, but he can't shoot like Tyler Hero. So yeah, I think Harden and Gallinari because I think we can sign Gallinari in free agency, and we should have cap for Giannis, or trade for Harden, which I think would be worth it because you know the trio would compensate for the bench depth that we have that we would be giving up basically. I think those are my two big free agents that I would choose.
I see that because you double up on. Let's say you got a starting five with Harden. Well, it depends who you trade, but ideally, what you would want to have is Harden. You got Dragic, Butler, Bam, and hopefully you can keep a Robinson or a Hero, right? Hopefully,
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? You can't double on Harden. Bam, Dragic, and Butler all in the paint. You can't double on Robinson. You leave Harden open, so it's just tough. But what I'm hoping is Heat beat the Bucks again 2020-2021 season in the playoffs, right? Because we all know the Bucks are gonna make it for sure to the playoffs, but hopefully they go against the Heat, either first, second, third round, whatever. But if we beat them again, there's no way Giannis doesn't come to Miami. Now that's tough because whether or not they want to get a trade, because I doubt they're gonna let Giannis walk on free agency but it's before trading him because they're not gonna let Giannis go when they get nothing back. So but just imagine like how good of like a starting five that'd be Giannis, Butler, maybe even stick a Bam in there too. Robinson and Hero or Dragic, whichever one. What do you do? Double on Giannis and leave one of the two best shooters in the league in the back? Like it'd be such a good starting five, but it'd be tough. I don't think we could keep. I think Hero or Robinson had to go. And I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Hero. We're not giving up Robinson. Like at the start of the year it was different. I thought we were gonna give up. I thought we were gonna give up Robinson because Hero's like whatever. But Robinson, like this year, he scored more points than Ray Allen did in his highlight career and his like his highest career. So he's passing Ray Allen. Like Robinson's been really good. So I don't think we're gonna.
Damn.
Well, yeah, he's doing pretty good. So I don't think we're getting rid of him, but hopefully Giannis. And I saw a post on Twitter the other day where it was that Bradley Beal
Mm-hmm.
and Giannis would be two people that would make Tyler Hero not untouchable. So they'd be willing to trade Tyler Hero for them. But as well, they said Westbrook is not someone that they would trade Tyler Hero for. They don't want. I'm pretty sure that they don't want Westbrook because they could have gotten him uh, last season
No,
instead of Hero.
I wouldn't. I don't want. I don't even want Westbrook.
Yeah.
Westbrook on this team. I don't want Westbrook on this team. I know the clout that he brings. You know, like nope. I don't like Westbrook's style. At least for the Heat culture, I don't like it. And it's the same thing with DeRozan. That I was gonna say that. You know, you can bring DeRozan on here. You know, he has that All-Star title. You know, he has the status, but he just doesn't fit because then you have because you would bring him in free agency. I'm assuming you wouldn't need to trade. You have Bam, Butler, DeRozan, top three, all big men, kind of, all forwards and center, clogging the paint, and they all can't shoot the three. That's the thing. You only have Dragic and Robinson out there. Like, let's say you pass it out to DeRozan on the three. No one's gonna take it seriously and like double team or anything. I don't think it would work with Butler there, especially if you're at the end of the game, DeRozan usually is used to getting the ball, with the Raptors and the Spurs. You wanted to have it with Butler. I think Butler and DeRozan are too similar for that reason. Yeah, I wouldn't bring him either.
I see.
But I mean, and when you were saying about Hero being traded, I really wouldn't want to trade Hero because I think we can either like bring in one of these like Gallinari or one of those like good players, but they're not all-star, and make the team better like that, or we can go for like a super trade like a Giannis or Harden, which is when you would have to give up Hero. So either do that or you let Hero develop because he was everybody knows he was balling in the bubble. He was making some noise. So I say either let him develop, make him he's gonna probably be a 20-point per game score next year. I think he can get up there. Him, Bam, and Butler, would be an unstoppable three eventually. I'm just worried about Pat Riley's patience, man. That he's just gonna be like pull the trigger on it and let Hero go to get like a Giannis. I would prefer to keep Hero and then sign a Gallinari or keep the same squad back again. Small changes, let everybody develop because rookie year is always like it's a building step, and then your sophomore year is like look at Luka Doncic. He was like really good rookie year, but now he's an MVP candidate like sophomore year. So I think you bring in Gallinari. The best option is bring in Gallinari, let Tyler Hero and these people develop more, and also get a better bench, stuff like that, and compete again. I think that's all we got to do. I think, in my opinion.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see Spo. He's been head coach for the Heat for a while now, so I can see him getting impatient, wanting to pull a trigger. But I really hope Hero. I really hope he stays. But if I'm being honest, I don't think we're gonna hear from any like big trades that the Heat's gonna make. Or what's it called? Free agent makes this year. Very early on. I think they'll wait closer to the deadline, only because I feel like at least for Hero, great player. Against Celtics, rookie year, scored 37 points. He beat Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade tweeted about it, how he beat him. That was funny. But I feel like all you got to do to Tyler Hero, make sure he gets those turnovers under control. Because if they can keep him, but he misses a bunch of open layups, which I get it, pressure. But first final appearance in his first year, but he got to calm his nerves down just for the finals. He did pretty good. I just feel like get those turnovers under control, and he's gonna be. I think we're gonna keep him if he gets those turnovers under control. That's pretty much it. Okay. I don't know how reliable this is, but there are two things that could happen. According to Bleacher Report, sourced by Kevin O'Connor, Russell Westbrook is officially heading to the Orlando Magic.
Oh my.
The Brooklyn Nets. What do you think?
I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, I know I think he's gonna get traded, but I don't think that. I think he's gonna get traded somewhere else. Because I mean, everything he said was, "Oh, I want the ball in my hands." Basically, like he already said that he does like playing with Harden. Like he denied all those rumors, but he does want the ball in his hands. So I think if he goes to Orlando, I mean, he'd get the ball in his hands, but you wouldn't be competing anymore. I think because I mean, the trade that you would have to do would have to give up like Mobamba, maybe Jonathan Isaac instead,
Maybe.
Aaron Gordon. It'd have to give up like one of those three, or maybe I don't know how many of them they would need, and then first round picks also, because I don't think it's worth it for the Magic. Honestly, I mean, I don't think a Westbrook and Vucevic duo would do much, especially in the East right now. I think if the East is that's what also made me angry. It was like, oh, the West is so strong. The West is, bro. Look at the East though. Right now, it's stacked here. It's stacked. But I think if he goes somewhere anywhere, I think Knicks and Hornets, I wouldn't mind him being there. I don't think he. I don't know. Westbrook is such a wild card right now for his future. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what would you do?
Oh well, so his top two are Orlando and Nets. I feel like it's gonna be bust. I feel like Orlando's not gonna happen. I think you're right on that. I feel like he's not gonna go Orlando. Orlando's gonna have to trade too much. Not that they have anything going for them, but I just feel like they wouldn't do that to themselves. They wouldn't make themselves start taking steps back because eventually they're gonna lose Westbrook, and then what? You're not gonna have an Aaron Gordon or a Mo Bamba. But I feel like what's gonna happen is Harden and Westbrook both. I could see them both leaving Houston and going to Brooklyn, but obviously Brooklyn's gonna have to give up either KD or brain fart. Irving.
Hey,
I don't know what just happened there. So they're gonna give KD or Irving. So probably gonna give up Irving to get like an OKC like reunite. I feel like what happened in Houston. KD's gonna want the ball at the same time when Westbrook and Harden want the ball. So it's gonna be a ball hog fest. Yeah, that's an amazing front court. They're not gonna get anywhere. I don't think they're gonna get anywhere. No matter. Not that I don't think Westbrook's never gonna win a chip, but like he wants the ball in his hands. I feel like if he ever learns to play like a more of a supporting role, then that's when things are going to start getting serious for him. But until they do, I feel like they're not going to go anywhere.
so wait, you think Harden and Russ are going to get traded together, both to the Nets?
I could see it because they got a couple people that they could trade. They could trade Irving, maybe even a center in Froman, Allen Iverson, but Jared Allen. Why did I say Allen Iverson?
Yeah.
And probably some round picks, but it's tough. I could see them both going over there, but Brooklyn would have to trade a lot.
I think they're gonna separate. I mean, I know they said that they don't mind playing with each other, but then it's like Westbrook's like, I want the ball in my hands, but then he just goes to a team with two ball handlers automatically. I think I wouldn't mind. I think Harden going there would be like a good choice because I know that he also needs the ball in his hands, and then we still have the other issue with Kyrie that needs it also. But I think imagine a court with Irving, Kevin Durant, and Harden. I mean, I think they would trade Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, Jared Allen for that, and then if anything, keep Russell there, or if anything, you can trade and then do just a hard reset. Reset. No, and then unless Harden just stays in not OKC, bro, Houston, and then you trade Russell to. I thought about trading him to the Knicks. You get not RJ Robinson, the 8th pick, Kevin Knox, and then I guess Julius Randle to take the contract, And then you have a team with Harden that can just lob it to Robinson there in the paint. You still have some good players, and then draft a good player, I think, or you trade the eighth pick from there. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna get traded together though. I think they're gonna split up. One of them is gonna stay in Houston, and the other one's gonna go. I think.
Yeah.
I know one of them is going though this year.
Well,
They're not gonna stay.
on paper, that duo Harden and Westbrook sounds beautiful. And then we
Mm-hmm.
play it out. It's like what happened now. Kawhi and Paul George, they had a pretty good season, but right when you got to the playoffs, on paper, sounds beautiful. Kawhi won a chip last year. Paul George has always been a contender. Almost won one for the Pacers, but it just didn't work out. They lost 3-1 against Denver, and look at that got them. So yeah, I think you're right. I think one's got to go. One might stay, but yeah, I think one's got to go for sure. All right. I think he got a first round pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fit or traded?
I think they should trade it. I mean, right now we have a lot of young talent. We got Nunn, Robinson, Hero, Chris Silva. We still have KZ Okpala and Gabe Vincent that they haven't gotten to play some minutes at all. I think you can trade it for future assets because I mean I know that we're low on picks because the Clippers have two of our picks. I think it was trade that. I think we have the 20th pick. I'm pretty sure it's the 20th. Trade it for like 2 first round picks or a first round in a future year and a second, something like that. I mean, I don't think we need any more young players right now. I think we gotta focus on developing these ones and see it from there.
Yeah. I think you're definitely right. We've already got Nunn. The three of you goats. We got Nunn. We got Robinson. We got Hero. And then also we got some younger people on the team. We got to build on Bam's not very old. He's gonna enter his prime soon. Same thing with
Mm-hmm.
Robinson. He's what is it? 25. He's gonna start
I
entering.
think I think it was 23 actually. Wait.
Somewhere around there. He's gonna
Mm-hmm.
start entering his prime. None. They're also entering their prime once they get older a little bit. I can see us letting go of none maybe, but I don't. I feel like we're spending so much time building up our rookies right now
Mm-hmm.
that kind of like to focus on more rookies, bring them in instead of just like kind of combining rookies and veterans and then getting some complementary
Mm-hmm.
pieces together. So yeah, I think you're right. I think we'll probably trade it away because I don't think right now we need it. All right.
Mm-hmm. Also, my bad. He's 26. Jeez.
26. Oh gosh. Yeah,
I didn't know he was that old.
he's
My
entering
bad.
right now. All right.
Jeez.
Now, all right, because this is serious. Because this is the fate of our team, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do with Bam and a max contract? Do we wait for that? Do we wait for a star come in and then give it to Bam so to save cap space, or do you give it to him now to secure him to make sure he doesn't go anywhere else just in case? He gets injured, like, oh, you guys don't got my back, whatever. But what do you think? What do you think?
Before I would have said, give him the wait till next year so we can sign another star. But I was watching this YouTube video of this guy like explaining otherwise. I forgot which stars it was. I think it was AD that this happened to. I can't remember off the top of my head that they did this. They said, "Oh, one more year." Then it gets to the year and the star gets fed up and he's like, "Oh, now I don't want your contract," and he just leaves. Because I think Bam's more of a team player. So if you ask Bam beforehand and it's clear with him, oh, let's wait one more year and we'll give you the max, then go ahead, do that. But I think they're gonna give him the max right now and just let him play it safe. I think.
All right, I can see that. I can see them going either way. What I could see them actually not giving the max now. I could see them giving it to them. I could see them doing anything, but what I think is gonna happen is probably they're gonna let him wait but it's also tough because you gotta take into consideration like Bam's a younger player, so he might want to win a chip right now, even though we almost just won one. We were 2 games away. When we expected to like get knocked out round 2, round 3, but it's tough because he might want to have a win now, think later personality, or he could be like, all right, we made it this far and we didn't even think we're gonna make it this far. We didn't try as hard. We weren't at full like strength. Now imagine what we could do when we are at full strength. So it could go either way. He could be like, oh, you're disrespecting me by not thinking that that you can pay me as much or whatever, or he could be like, all right, if we're gonna win, I'll do whatever it takes. He can take it out of the way. I think that they probably will secure him, but uh, I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna wait to give him the max. I think they're gonna wait. Maybe sign like Beal and probably give up Tyler and Nunn or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And a first round pick, I could see that. Uh, Oladipo, I mean, I think he wants to go to the Heat more than the Heat want him to come. But
Yeah, for sure.
it just depends. I think they're gonna wait, but yeah, it just depends.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we always hope that he'll wait. Wait so that we can get more cap space. To bring in another person. Better like a strong teammate. But the only worry, that most players have are like, oh, what if I get injured? Then I don't get, I
Yeah.
won't get the max the next year. So I mean, it's all up to him, honestly. That if he feels confident enough with the organization trusting him, keeping him healthy, then I hope he waits. But I'm just, like Pat Riley said, oh, we're gonna do what's best for Bam. So that's the only thing that makes me think, oh, they're gonna just give him the max right now. But hopefully they wait till next year, in my
But
opinion.
also, people are saying that it's Bam is their secret weapon to getting Giannis because number one, the team would be unbeatable. I don't feel like it would be like a Kevin Durant team because Kevin Durant went to a team that was already dominating the West.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if Giannis joined a 5 seed team, it wouldn't matter. But they said that Bam's the secret weapon because they share the same agent. So as much as as much as an agent's supposed to like look out for their players,
Mm-hmm.
imagine that'd be another big three.
No, for sure. That I didn't want to touch on it before because I knew we were gonna talk about it now. But that big three of Bam, Giannis, and Butler, I think especially that Bam's developing that three. Like it's not the same thing like DeRozan that was saying that they clog up the paint. Like Giannis is shooting threes now. He's getting better on his shots. So is Bam. Bam's becoming more of a stretch big. I think he's working on that. I heard from Butler. He said, Butler could shoot a three. It's not his top choice, but
He get it in clutch moments like against the Hawks.
mm-hmm.
Like shot a couple big threes, like going to OT. But yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
and, and the defense, bro. The defense would be on. You have defensive player of the year, Bam, who just got second all defensive, and Butler, who's been known for defense. And then Hero's working on his defense. He said. I mean, he's been studying a bunch of stars like that for that reason. And I mean, I know Robinson's not that good on defense, but Dragic, he can hold himself up. I think the defense would be unstoppable if Giannis, and then the offense, the same thing. Everybody's being efficient. So I wish, bro.
This year, a stat came out right after every player left the bubble. A stat came out that Jimmy Butler this entire season has got more steals than he has fouled people. So yeah, it's like 102 steals and like 80 something fouls. So like just imagine like that deep, like not even offensive, like defensively, Bam with just like his strong center of gravity. Giannis, block every shot. Butler, who's just amazing. Like, dude, that'd be such an OP team. I don't work out. I feel like it would be another big three. Like Giannis would be LeBron, Butler the Wade, and Bam the Bosch. But
Mm-hmm.
I think we got another big three, and like you don't really see like a big two winning other than like AD and James, but considerably the two best players in the league right now. So it's hard to see big two with just Butler and Bam. But if you get a big three, they're just missing that one piece, and I think Giannis could do it. But Giannis could also be that centerpiece for another team, so it's going to be hard. I feel
Yeah,
like
that's the only thing.
maybe Hero's going to go if we want to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
If Hero would go, None would go. First round pick,
For
probably
sure.
too. Probably like another bigger man, like maybe Kelly O or Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
That at the same time, like you said, that's a shooter going. That's Kenyon who averaged like what 18 points during the season, something like that.
Yeah, you were
So it'd be hard, but we'd have to give him pieces. But I think we could do it.
right. Mm-hmm.
Specifically, need Giannis to win a ring, but I do think we need like another star. So it can go either way.
For sure.
Today, huge trade rumor came out.
I
And
know you.
I don't even know if it's true, if it's a rumor anymore, or it's going to be official starting tomorrow. Dennis Schroeder from OKC going to the Lakers for Danny Green.
It hurt hearing this trade, bro. It hurt. Like, as I woke up in the morning and I went on YouTube, to see anything. All these YouTubers reacting to, bro. As if they weren't on like the finals. We gave up a fight, but they did they, they got their title like deserved. So seeing them add 20 per game. I mean, a 20 points per game shooter out there who can pass the ball, just got third in six man or top threes in six man of the year. Plus LeBron and AD. It's like because the whole point was that they didn't have a passer for LeBron because LeBron was basically playing point guard. To add a real good point guard for a first round, a 28th pick, and Danny Green, dude. All I gotta say is OKC got the finesse. I think that's like they could have gotten better in my opinion for sure, but. Because I was looking forward to this. I was like, the Heat are gonna get better this offseason, and the Lakers, they're gonna bring back people, but they'll be the same. Hopefully, we can give up a better fight this year. But I was impressed. If I wasn't so biased to the Heat, I would be. That's a big W for the Lakers, in my opinion.
That's so scary. And they probably, I think they'd start Schroeder. They got 80, James starting, Schroeder in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Who else would they start?
Oh no, not Kuzma, bro. My bad.
I think Kuzma, Caruso would be on the bench. That's but already they've got James unstoppable in the paint. AD who is turning into a shooter apparently now. 80 something threes in the playoffs. That's just a scary front and back court. I don't know how people are gonna respond to that. Like, how are they gonna can't box out James, can't box out AD, and leave shooters on the perimeter? But that's gonna be scary.
It's like thinking about this because I know a lot of people are saying Rondo's leaving the Lakers this year. It's like upgrading their point guard spot from how old is Rondo now? 34 to an 29-year-old Schroeder who who's shooting I think 38% from the three. I think it was this year, or 34, something around there. Upgrading to that younger youth for a 28th pick that you're not gonna get like a Anthony Edwards. Obviously, you're not gonna get any prime talent right now that's gonna help you win. It's just it's scary for the league right now, dude. Like it's like Lakers. I mean, not. It's like Clippers. I mean, it's like the LA teams are just getting better at this point instead of the league evening out now. It's scary now.
Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it's getting scary now. Actually, yeah. We couldn't beat Lakers last year. Imagine now the Lakers getting stronger, but Heat are getting stronger. But funny you talk about Rondo. There's an update right now on Top Ball coverage that they got their source Get Nick Wright. Rajon Rondo is getting pursued in free agency by the Atlanta Hawks. Now I can see a Trae Young. Do you think we will see eventually in 21 season a Trae Young with a Rondo?
I think Rondo. I think he's gonna do like I don't want to say UD thing, but he's gonna be there to mentor Trae Young. I think because now that I see it, they kind of remind me of each other. They've got skills like Rondo's known for his passing, but I've seen Trae Young. He can pass low key. Like he's known for shooting, but imagine like Rondo being there for Trae Young, like developing this guy. Trae Young is gonna get like I know Trae Young gets knocked a lot because of his defense, but I mean Rondo, like, he doesn't play defense like unstoppable, but like he can hold himself up. I think so. Him mentoring him, playing backup if anything, or maybe they move him to the shooting guard. I don't think it's gonna help them win better, but I think it's gonna get them more ready for the future, kind of a thing. Play like be more leadership kind of a role.
Yeah, I don't. It's tough. Like all these teams, they're getting good, but like I feel like the don't give the East enough credit. The East is not getting worse. It's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say that now they have a new update. Vice City alerts, right? Twitter. Milwaukee
Mm-hmm.
Bucks. Wesley Matthews will decline his $2.7 million playing option for the 2020-2021 season and become a free agent. So that's by the Athletic NBA.
Mm-hmm. That's an
So
L.
I know that the Spo and Riley were interested in Wesley. You think they'll take him, or you think they might keep him to trade him, or you think they're just gonna let him walk on his own?
I heard a lot of rumors about that hit the Heat are one of the teams. Lakers were also, but apparently, like he's not signing for a lot. I think. I think it would be worth it for the Heat to sign. I mean, it's also that's a big loss for Milwaukee in my opinion. Also, the fact that because it kind of reminds me of like the Brogdon issue, like that they kept Bledsoe instead of Brogdon, and then they felt it like halfway through the year. They're like, damn, we missed Brogdon. Kind of. I think it's gonna be the same thing. You're gonna miss another role player that's on your team that's important. So I think it's a big loss for Milwaukee, honestly, to lose another one of those key role players for their team, which is also going to affect Giannis. I think you've lost two players already that were on your team that that they made an impact. Like they're not stars, but they're strong off the bench, kind of a thing. Or I mean, Weston Matthews was starting, I think, but
Yeah.
it's going to affect them, I think.
We got two more rumors that are going around.
All right.
First, and we got one more rumor, but first, now this is big. Do you pursue Devin Booker?
If you got the chance, you do it. Before, I think he's always been underrated, like even in my eyes that I was like, oh, Devin Booker, he can shoot, because, I don't watch a lot of Sun games, but I was watching this other game where he was going off and I was like, damn, this guy can shoot. I mean, he's not, because a big thing I like is defense, because I think it's underrated, but the guy, I think if you can do it, you do it. Because that guy's a bona fide star right there, and I think he's still pretty young. You do it. I mean, he's a shooter. You can trade your young shooters. I think because Devin Booker is top. He's one of those top players right there.
Now, big question, because they wouldn't let him go on free agency. Devin Booker is like he's for sure the star. Not even arguably, for sure the star player. But arguably, he's almost one of the only good players on the team. Now, great players on the team, but if the Suns lose him, they lose so much. So, what do you think the Suns would want from the Heat if the Heat want to get him? And what do you think the Heat will actually give him?
They're not going to want Bam, I think, because they have Aiden right now. He's developing. So I think they're going to ask for Hero for sure, obviously. Maybe a first-round pick if we can trade it. Robinson also. They're going to ask for those three for sure. And then none also, I think. I think those three young pieces plus the first-round pick, I think would be able to do it. I mean, I don't think it would be able – that's what we can give them, I think. That's what we have right now.
Yeah, I feel like they'd ask for Hero, Robinson, none, 3 baby goats for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a fourth pick in Leonard, or maybe throw Hill someone out of the bench.
Mm-hmm.
But they definitely need those 3 because they lost a starter, and then obviously a first round pick. Now what I think the Heat would give, I think they'd be down to give none. They wouldn't be happy about losing Hero, but I think that in the end they do it. But I don't think they'll give up Robinson. I feel like I don't know why. He's done. I feel like if Riley really realizes how much Robinson has done, because like Hero, great play, and in obviously future All-Star, 1000%. maybe even future MVP.
Mm-hmm.
But it just Robinson is just insane, undrafted,
For
20 years
sure.
old, insane. He beat the all-time Heat record in threes.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's broken records in this year, so he's done insane. Hero's done the same, but I feel like Hero and Nunn are good enough shooters to give up for Booker because obviously, no matter what, if we get Booker, we win the trade, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just depends who we trade. I think Hero, Nunn, a third guy probably. Don't know in who. Maybe Leonard. Maybe because having two big mans for the Suns wouldn't be too bad. And
Maybe
then
a Kelly Olynyk.
maybe even maybe a Kelly O, and then first round pick to see if they want to draft anyone else, or that they could use it to trade. But I think we might get him, but that's an iffy trade right there.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Keeping Robinson. I mean, if you have the chance to keep one of the 2 or 3 shooters that you got, you automatically keep them. I think the fact that how valuable Hero is because of what else he can do, his playmaking, his he can run, he can shoot. I mean, he can shoot in the paint, different things like that. He can shoot from anywhere in the court, in my opinion. That's what makes him so valuable for other teams and how much younger he is than Robinson. So, there's no way that we're gonna give him Robinson and we get to keep Hero. That's not happening. Hero's gonna be there in every trade room. Really, that's the problem. So if you can keep Robinson to have a second shooter behind Booker, you do it automatically. So that would be your first priority there. Try to keep Robinson. I agree.
Yeah. There's no other way to put it. Yeah. Um. Is Gallinari a free agent this year, or if we want him, we gotta have to trade for him?
I think now he's in free agents. I'm pretty sure. I don't think he had a player. I don't think he had a player option or anything. I think he's a free agent right now.
Well,
Or I think you'd have to do a sign and trade kind of a thing,
yeah.
like we did for Butler.
So what do you think's gonna happen with Kelly O? Because he's been able to make a decision already, but he hasn't. But his option deadline is 5 p.m. Thursday. He's expected to opt in, but he has until Thursday to decide. Thursday at 5 p.m. to decide. So, do you think he'll opt in or out? Or if he does, what do you think we're gonna do with him? And if he doesn't, where do you think he's gonna go?
I'm pretty sure he's gonna opt in. I mean, he's gonna make hella bank right now with that contract.
Yeah,
I think if he opts out, I don't think he'll make the same amount. Honestly, I don't think he's gonna make more than 16 mil per year in a new contract.
that's what he has right
Uh,
now. That's what he's
oh
right now. 13.6. That's what he's expected to have.
yeah, no, but I mean, I don't think he's gonna get. I don't think he's gonna get a lot of money outside if he goes for a new contract. I think he should opt in. And then, if anything, we use him as a trade asset. He doesn't have a big contract, but he has a nice contract. You can get a younger player that's making a few. Like, I don't think we need him right now because we have a lot of shooters right now, so I don't think we need a shooting big man. But that especially how if like he's like either on point all the time or just off. So I think he opts in and we trade it, or if anything, we keep him for the rest of the year and let it expire next year and let him walk, something like that.
Yeah, I feel like if we're gonna probably get him to opt in, because his deal isn't too bad for the other teams. So we might use him as an asset and get him trade him for like maybe a Serge Ibaka, who isn't we don't really even need for, but he's not a shooting big man. He'll shoot a three, but he's mainly like a centerpiece. That'd be a nice trade for big man for big man. Or maybe even trade him, get rid or not even trade him, just get rid of him, so we can save space for Gallinari. But I feel like it'd be better if we keep him, but then let him walk. But
A trade for Serge Ibaka though would be, I mean, because the big issue that we were going into the Lakers was the big man, not being able to guard AD, when Bam was gone, not being able to block him. I mean, like to guard him well. bringing a big man like Ibaka that's known for defense. Ibaka. I think it would be good for the Heat, honestly, to have him there.
Yeah, Kelly. It's just Kelly. He just sets me off a little bit. Like, I mean, he's a great player. He dropped 20 bomb, and almost got a triple double if he got a little more assists in a game against, I think it was the Lakers, game one or game two. He did pretty good, but it's just I feel like he'd have so many perimeter shooters already. Robinson, Hero, none. Solomon Hill can shoot. Butler in clutch moments when he has to. I just feel like we need more big man centers. Uh, we have Bam, but once he's out, we got into foul trouble in one of the games. Bam got into foul trouble and got 4 fouls in like the third quarter. We had to take him out. Leonard and Olenek in, and that just didn't go very well, I feel. Lakers, one of the tallest teams in the NBA.
Sure.
We had to block a McGee, put AD on none on AD for some reason at one point. We have to get an AD, McGee, and an Anthony Davis.
Mhm.
AD. We have to get
Yeah,
AD.
Howard.
Yeah, Howard. There you go. So it's just, I feel like if we want to, because I wouldn't doubt us making it again to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I also wouldn't doubt the Lakers getting back. So if they do, hopefully they
We
give.
need bigger.
We
We
have
need more
to
size.
be a little bigger team because our team is not small, but like our big guys aren't as better at defense. Robinson is what 6'7" or 6'5", and he's
Yeah, no.
not a defensive player.
Especially when you have our power forward Crowder. He's not a big man.
Not a
So
big man.
that's why
Amazing defense though.
that's a big thing also for Leonard coming back. I mean, I know he's not like a Serge Ibaka kind of defense, but I mean, I think he's like the same height as Bam or a little taller, 7'1". I think he was. I may be wrong with that, but he was there in the paint. Just his presence there. Like the height, the size. It makes a difference, obviously. So we just need. I think we need I don't think trade Crowder, but trade a Lennox or somebody like that for a bigger big man. Someone that can be there in the paint.
Yeah. This is supposedly what this is Lakers likely bench for next season.
Mhm.
Point guard Dennis Schroeder. And you get Avery Bradley. You got Kyle Kuzma, a power forward in Markieff Morris, and a center in Dwight Howard. Should the Heat maybe try to get a team around based off like how to counter them, or they should start focusing on how the Heat can improve, or should they start like focusing on how they can improve against other teams?
I think we should focus on improving against other teams. Honestly, I mean, look what happened with the Bucks right there. We developed this team to be able to stop Giannis. Drake Crowder, Butler, and Bam Adebayo. Be able to stop him there in the paint. Now that we got through Giannis, they're losing. They're losing Matthews right now. They're getting weaker. Find the way to stop the Lakers next. I mean, of course we found the way to get past the Bucks like we planned. I don't think we were set to face the Lakers. We weren't ready for that yet. So I think make some moves right now to be able to beat the Lakers, and then that's our chance. I mean, that's all we can do.
I think you're right. It's tough because it's just I feel like the Heat just got to develop their young players and we're set. But like you said, just imagine Gallinari next to Bam. Like we don't need like such a Giannis player. Like amazing. If we get Giannis, no complaints. I'm happy with that. But like I feel like we just need this one tiny boost just to get us there. So we made it and we didn't expect to make it. Obviously, just we're not talking about how we're not underdogs, whatever, but or how we thought we could make it. Like I get that that's confidence, but I feel like deep down inside we were like we shouldn't be here. But starting five with Gallinari, Bam, probably Robinson, Butler, and Dragic. That two big men on the floor. And if you need to trade him in, maybe a Leonard to stop a couple.
Mm-hmm.
But
No, for sure. I think that's the way to to push through. I mean, Gallinari's like 6'10", I think it was, and obviously it's not like a 7'1" like Leonard, but I mean, it brings in. You still have Crowder there. Hopefully, we re-sign him. Hopefully, he still is there. Like when we need more defense, you just put Crowder in. Honestly, I mean, but to have that third like legitimate star kind of a player on that team, I think is gonna everybody's like, oh, you need one more star, you need one more star. I think Gallinari is the guy that a reasonable price. He's not like us like expecting like a max contract, but I think he'll put us over the edge as a top contender.
yeah, definitely. All right. We have what's it called? There's a player. Hang on, let me check his name. His name is. All right. He is. I don't know what school he's from. His name is Coke Anthony. He's a 60-point guard, averaging 18.5 points per game, 5.7 rebounds per game, and 4 assists per game. Do we want him on the Heat for our first round pick? That's tough. What do you think? I don't know if we need another point guard. I feel like we should be focusing on getting like a little bigger team, a little better defensively.
How many assists did he have?
He's had 4 assists per game.
I think. I mean, he's only 20 years old, so I think maybe. I think you can bring him. Honestly, I mean, it wouldn't be bad. I mean, obviously he has good numbers. I don't think he's what the Heat needs right now. Because if he was like a really good passer, then I'd be sure. Because I mean, like Nunn right now, he's the other point guard. He's not like when he gets the ball, he usually shoots with it. He's not a big passer like Tyler Hero or Butler. I think like you said that we need to focus either more on big men or unless you develop him more into a passer. Because I think honestly that's what we need right now in our point guards. We need more passers so that Butler doesn't need to be like, I know Butler's always like, oh, I'm fine being pass first, but look at what Butler was able to do in the finals when we gave him the ball and we just let him shoot. You don't need to pass or help the younger guys. If we had Dragic or like being passing more, then I'd be for sure no, don't take him. Trade the pick or look for a big man. But I think it wouldn't hurt to take him, honestly. At this point, I mean, I know I said before, oh, we should focus on our young guys, but 19 points per game, basically 4.5. I mean, those are real good numbers. So I think it wouldn't hurt to develop him more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you just said it right there. Perfect. Like you said about Butler, yeah. Butler doesn't care how many points he scores. I know in an interview when he dropped the 40 bomb, he talks about how he wants to hopefully one game 0 points, 0 assists, 0 rebounds, and still win. Just to say that it doesn't matter. Which I respect that because it's true. He's win first, play later. But Butler dropped, I think it was 2 40 bombs and 135. He played in game 5 to make it to game 6. He played all but 48 seconds. Dude, like, I feel like, and all that, the rumors about Butler being like a toxic locker room player, like getting Carl Anthony Towns and Wiggins, and then look what happened now. Like, he went from Bulls for being toxic, then went to the Timberwolves toxic, and then finally 76ers toxic there. Didn't have a good relationship with Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
And then now on the Heat, almost just won a championship. It's looking really good for them.
Dude, it's just about accountability. Honestly, if you can't, I think it's the fact that we can take like they take his shit. That he's not gonna be like, oh, you can slack off. No, he's not there for sensitive people. He's there to be honest, be like, this is what you got to do. If you don't want to do it, then get out of the room. I mean, which is also when Ben Simmons and all these players' egos get hurt. That was the whole point. That's what I think was also special about this Heat team. That, obviously Bam and all these people, they got better, and yeah, now we know him as an all-star. But you can ask anybody before, like if you weren't watching the Heat, like if you didn't know, like if you only knew the Heat as Whiteside and maybe Goran Dragic's team and the Wade, like if that's all you knew about them, you weren't gonna know anything about Bam Adebayo, unless you were like a real Heat fan.
I knew they were like higher roster, yeah, because
exactly. So obviously Butler was like, okay, they're gonna be able to take the beating. They're here for a reason, and it's also something that they said in an interview that all of them had like some kind of chip on their shoulder. Spo about how he wasn't a good coach, like he got carried by LeBron James, Bam getting cut from the USA team. I think Robinson with the schools, everybody had like a chip on their shoulder, which is what I think made it even better for Butler. Being like, you guys, let's prove everybody wrong. Let's show the world like that we got our shit together, kind of a thing. Which is that's what, like, you see, Karl Anthony Towns, was like number one pick, I think it was. So obviously, his ego's like, yeah, I'm super good. I don't need to care. You don't need to call me out. I'm the best. Kind of a thing. You see,
getting money, doesn't care about winning right now.
Exactly. That's what I think was so important about this team, that they were willing to take the beating from Butler, to be better than that. They knew what Butler could do, honestly. I think, and especially with how young these guys are, they're not gonna speak back to Butler and being like, oh, don't talk to me like that. They're 20, 23 years old.
20-year-old
just exactly.
How old is Jimmy Butler? 32, something like that.
Who?
Jimmy Butler. He's getting older.
No. I mean, he's still playing. I mean, let me see. Let me check. I think it's like 32, 33.
Oh, somewhere in the 30s. So he's still playing good as ever.
Oh, he's 31. 31.
Yeah. Oh, so he's got time. Like,
but I mean, he's not. He's not like 34 like Rondo. He still has good years, but he's a vet now. He knows what to tell these guys without like, people call him a dick, but that's just him. Like if you watch The Last Dance, you can say Jordan was. That's what I don't get. They call Butler out for being a dick, but I watched The Last Dance and I was like, damn, Michael Jordan is actually being a dick to his teammates, and no one says shit about him. No one says shit about like with Jordan doing it. So why are they complaining when Butler's doing it? I mean, now I think I get it. He hadn't won a championship, but it obviously worked now. I mean,
the minute that people started listening to Butler and taking like what he said, like actually playing the right way, caring about winning actually, instead of if I have a good deal, if I'm getting money, and then not caring after that.
Mm-hmm.
They finally
you're in the finals.
Games away. Almost took a game six in either game 1 or 2. I forgot, but it was pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I mean,
I'm so glad. Like, Robinson proved all his schools wrong. Bam proved that he being not being a starter last year, whatever, was fine. Robinson, undrafted, you still as good. Same with Robinson. All those schools wrong with Robinson. Butler's not a toxic locker room player. People just don't want to listen to him. Spo didn't get carried by LeBron. Not only at the same time as losing, at the same time they also won, in the sense that we put our name on the map. Like, right when Bosch left, even though they came back after a little bit and then left again, we were going downhill.
Yeah, for sure.
We had bad contracts. We had Johnson on a big contract. Same thing with Winslow. Who else? Hassan Whiteside.
Dion Waiters.
And I hate that he won a chip. I hate that he won, bro. He was anyways, no matter who won.
Yeah.
But I'm like happy where they are, because now their name's on the map. All these free agents, and at the same time you think, oh yeah, but like look at the Bucks, look at like all those places that are pretty good that free agents might want to go to. No one wants to willingly go to and live in Milwaukee. People want to live in the city, live in big places. Like that's why they went to California, Golden State. That's why KD went over there. That's why James came from Cleveland, Ohio to Miami. You want to go to big name places like the city all lights, a huge city. Like, so I feel like
Mhm.
free agents, we're looking pretty good. Whether we don't sign too much, I know he aren't too much about thinking about the future. Like, will they just they're a win now type franchise, but I
Mhm.
feel like they are thinking a little bit in the future, but at the same time, I think they just want to get a ring now and then think about that later. But I feel like they're kind of like playing both sides of it.
No, no, yeah, for sure. I mean, you can tell before that, like with the whole LeBron James era, they weren't worried about what would happen after James left. Like they thought he was gonna stay for a while, which is I think what happened. Like where we started going down, but then I think we started realizing, oh, let's just focus. I was watching a video that it was like during this whole Wade ceremony, you can see like in that, like if you go back now, you notice, oh, the Heat signing Robinson, the Heat looking at Nunn getting ready to undraft, like you could see like everybody was so worried on the Wade ceremony, him retiring.
Well,
Like Pat Riley was secretly making the moves to get this year ready,
the Heat never had
So
a phase. We kind of just went into it. It's and we were like in a rough spot. You're right. 'Cause we were like in a rough spot. We were tank. We were like 41, whatever. We were
mhm,
too good to tank, but we
we
did.
couldn't win.
Yeah, we were too good to tank, but we were too bad to just
Compete.
yeah to compete. So and then we came to the point where we didn't get a good round. We didn't get we couldn't get like a top 3 round pick because
Mhm.
you're 41. So we're in a tough spot. But like you said, the highlight of the 2018-2019 season was Wade retiring.
Mhm.
So behind closed doors, Pat Riley and Stoll, they worked their magic and they got us back into a contender. So for sure, I think undoubtedly we're making the playoffs next year. But last one before we go,
Mhm.
who do you think? What you don't have to say every single one, but what teams do you think are gonna make it to the playoffs? Who do you think is going to beat the East or dominate the East? Who do you think is going to dominate the West? And who do you think is going to win it all? And no bias, no Heat bias.
All right, all right. I think if the Magic don't make any moves this year, they're gonna get dropped down, and the Bulls are gonna get the eighth seed this time. I think either the Bulls or the Wizards, because apparently John Wall returning. I think John Wall and the new improved Bradley Beal, and they still have Rui Hachimura, Thomas Bryant. I still is gonna be there. I think that team or now Billy coaching the Bulls. They still have Zach LaVine that was getting better, Kobe White that was going on that streak before. I would prefer the Bulls because I think the Bulls in the playoffs would be pretty fire. But and then getting out, I think it depends how everybody gets better. I think it's gonna be a repeat of last year's Celtics versus Heat. And depending on how good Hero gets, I think we'll push it over the edge. I think. Actually, also wait, I think the Magic and maybe the Pacers will make it. One of those two. I think those two will either drop off, and then what the two teams that I said, Wizards and Bulls, will make it. One of those. It's between those four teams, and then yeah.
Before we continue, you
Mm-hmm.
keep going, but after this, quick question. Do you
Go
think
ahead.
if the bonus was there, they wouldn't have gotten swept? Or they would have beaten the Heat in the playoffs? If the bonus was there and they had a healthy Oladipo.
I think it would have got. I think it would have gone more than 4 games. I think the fact of how much we beat them, we still would have won the series because we were. I think it was an easy, but I think the last 2 games that it got close. It got closer. If the bonus and a healthy Oladipo was there, I think they would have won a couple games, maybe push it at 5 or 6 because Brogdon was balling out there, and then plus the bonus that would have been they would have won some games honestly.
DJ Warren wasn't with it the entire time. Like he dropped a couple. He dropped like 220 bombs, but or like close to 20 bombs. But then I think he kind of
Oh no, he got. I don't want to say he got shut down because everybody was like, "Oh, Butler proved him wrong," but Butler wasn't guarding him all the time.
yeah, close to the part of the
Yeah,
entire.
I was like, he wasn't guarding him all the time, but I think I think Warren wasn't like the P. I don't think Warren would have made a difference. I think it would have been more if it was because Brogdon, I think, was like the MVP for the Pacers for that series. If Brogdon had Sabonis there with him, I think they would have gotten 1 or 2 games because I think the third or second game was a lot closer than the others that they almost won it. But I think they would have gotten. I think it would have been a 6 or 5 game series.
Yeah, you're right. All right, so you can keep going with your predictions. Who do you think's gonna make it out of the East, West? Who do you think's gonna win it?
Okay, and then the West. Oof. I think the Blazers. I think the Blazers are gonna keep their spot. Mavs continue. Nuggets. The only
The Blazers get knocked out by this year. I forgot. They got knocked out, right?
they got knocked out by the Lakers.
By the Lakers.
You're talking about the Blazers, right?
You went 4-1.
They were it was. I was gonna say the Blazers would get knocked out and then the Pelicans, but I can't see it because the whole reason that the Blazers weren't like a definite 8th seed or higher was because they were missing their key role players like Nurkic and I think Herter. I think if they had those players, they would. I think it would. It's so complicated in the West. That's the thing because you can't knock out Donovan Mitchell. He's gonna for sure be there. Luka Doncic is getting better. You can't knock out the Nuggets because I mean they just got to the conference finals. I think it's either gonna stay the same or the Blazers are gonna choke next year and then do a hard rebuild. I mean a hard reset, and then it would be Pelicans instead. It's either gonna be Pelicans or Blazers in the 8th spot.
Oh, so like fine, okay. The Pelicans, I think they have a great what's it called? Great like
On paper, they have on paper a good starting 5. I mean, I know there's a lot of rumors about Holiday. Drew Holiday getting ready.
To the Heat, yeah. But
There's a lot of rumors, but I mean, if they keep him, I think with JJ Redick still there, I think he has 1 more year in this contract.
Yeah, and that.
I think they give it a fight.
Yeah, for real. I thought they were gonna make it this year, but well, not this year, but I feel like they're gonna make it next year to the playoffs. Like you said, if the Blazers choke. But I feel like having Zion, Ball, Redick, Drew Holiday, Oubre, who else? Ingram. Like they have a great team. Like I feel like they can go far. I want them to go far. Like the Pelicans, like especially after losing AD and then him and then watching him win.
I felt so bad for the fans on that team. Like the embarrassment that it must have felt like AD. Like I really want out. Like I was like,
yeah.
I felt bad, but then they got Zion, and I was like, okay, never mind.
Zion, he gives me like the nostalgia like LeBron gives me. Like I feel like he could be the next LeBron. Like eventually, I feel like he could be the face of the NBA easily.
For sure. I mean, I don't think he's as good as LeBron James like coming in, but I think the athleticism reminds me of James in that way. The bully box that he does.
All right,
but
and who's making out of the West?
I think for conference finals, it's gonna be obviously. I think Lakers for sure. Again, especially with the new upgrade. I wish I would say the Nuggets again because I really want to see Nuggets succeed, but I think if it's either Clippers or Mavs in my opinion. If Clippers don't make any moves, assuming that it's the same order as last year, I think either if Mavs make a move because I know Mavs were looking for a third star, or Clippers. It's one of those two, Clippers or Mavs. I think this year, and then leaving to go to the finals is going to be Lakers again, in my opinion, because I think the whole Paul George and Kawhi team, I don't think it works as well as thought.
So you think it's Clippers versus Mavs?
Clippers versus Mavs, then Clippers move on. One of those two move on to fight the Lakers. I mean, to battle the Lakers.
Yeah.
Lakers move on to the finals. I think.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel like Western Conference, I could see Golden State and
Oh,
because now
I cannot believe
Warriors are back.
that is such an
Yeah,
L. I
back.
cannot believe I forgot about the Warriors. Never mind.
Bro,
Never mind.
you see
Well,
how terrible they did this season? So
d-
I'm glad they did terrible, bro. Like after going like 3 years and making it to the playoffs, ever to the
oh,
final
for
year,
sure, for
no
sure,
one can make it.
dude. All I have to say though is that everybody's like, "Oh, I'm glad we didn't see." I missed the Warriors in the playoffs. Now, like I completely forgot about them. Now, like I cannot believe I just let that go over my head. No, 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 no. Never mind.
But
Never
now
mind.
you have to take into consideration they got the Splash Bros back. They got Curry and Clay.
Exactly.
And
Never mind. That changes everything now. Okay, never mind. I have Warriors and Lakers in the East in the Western Conference Finals, and I think the Lakers would move on because I don't think there's any way to block AD. And I think if for Curry and Clay, they'd have Avery Bradley there, who's known as a good defensive point guard. And I think you're just gonna have to let Clay Thompson shoot and hope for the best. I think a LeBron James, Schroeder, and Davis lineup. I don't think the Lakers are built to beat them. In
yeah,
my opinion, I can't believe I forgot about the Warriors. Oh my! I mean,
it'd be tough because I feel like I keep saying tough. Because I feel like the Warriors have to depend on, as they always do, on Curry and Clay
mm-hmm,
shooting, but like all Lakers got to do is drive. Like, yeah, sure, Warriors great team. If the Lakers very oddly for some reason put McGee, which they did last season. Like we can say
mm-hmm.
last season now. Put McGee, Howard, and AD and James all on the floor, and maybe add Schroeder into that, just to have like a shooter. Because why not?
Mm-hmm.
What they can't block that. Are you kidding me?
I mean, their main defense, I think, was Draymond Green. He can't block any. I mean, he'll put up a fight, but I mean,
Yeah, and if they trade him to get maybe a better asset, uh, and I know they're trying to pursue Giannis, but the odds of that I don't know because Giannis doesn't want to repeat KD. So you think
yeah,
uh Lakers would make it out on top, but the Western Conference would be between um
Lakers and Warriors for sure. And then I think, oh, it's gonna be a fun playoffs next year.
oh it is all every
Clippers versus the Warriors, and then, dude, Luka Doncic getting out of the first round. Jeez,
yeah
that's so hard to even imagine. That's so hard to imagine at this point because I mean, MVP candidate with a Kristaps Porzingis. Plus, they have a good bench, honestly. Tim Hardaway Jr. and all these people, and I think they were looking for more players. I mean, and then have to get out of the first round because I mean, Clippers. I think Clippers are going to advance with the roster they have, especially with. I'm sure they're going to make a way to compensate losing Harrell in free agency because I don't think they can re-sign him.
Marcus Morris.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're gonna be. I mean, yeah, I think the Clippers. I think the Clippers would move past these people.
I don't see him moving Patrick Beverly. I feel like they're gonna keep Beverly, keep Kawhi. I can see him trading Paul George maybe for like someone who complements Kawhi better because like they both want their ball in their hands, kind of like a Harden, Westbrook, like you said.
I
Yeah,
saw a trade for Chris Paul for Paul George, kind of a thing.
I could see that because Chris Paul is more like a team player. That makes sense.
I thought that would fit better, honestly. I mean, because I mean, you move Patrick Beverly to the bench, if anything. I mean, you let Chris Paul play. I mean, he's not like prime, like he's not like PG, but I mean, you saw in the playoffs, he did pretty impressive.
Rockets 7 games.
And a big thing also is leadership. I mean, Kawhi is a leader, obviously, but you need that strong vet that gives the right vibe. I think it is like Pat Beverly and Lou Williams. They have like this vibe that I noticed that it was just like they lead, but it's like that douchey bag leading style. If
Yep.
that makes sense, I think Paul would work better on the Clippers, and then it's not like Thunder. Oh, it would be a Thunder's. Oh, I don't know actually. Paul George would go back to the. I don't know how that would work, but I think a Chris Paul Kawhi duo would take the Warriors and then these people far.
How many games do you think it'd take the Lakers against Warriors? How many games do you think you take it to?
7 or 6, 7 or 6 for sure.
Yeah, I don't think
I think
I'm sure it would never be a sweep.
it can't be a sweep. You know, one of those games, Curry and Clay are gonna go off, and then and just it would be too much for the Lakers. And we still don't even know what they're doing with the second draft pick and Andrew Wiggins. You know, if they get
Yeah,
a third star with that, maybe it depends how it goes in free agency. I mean, if they pick up Wiseman and he's just a monster out there, it, you never know. I mean, bro, that's why I love free agency so much.
yeah.
It's just imagining. It's so much fun.
He's
But I
making
mean,
the East out of the East.
hmm wait, what did you say? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Making it out of the East. I did not expect Heat and Celtics like that.
I think there's a lot of rumors about Hayward leaving the Celtics. So
Oh,
without,
the Heat.
I think if he leaves, the Heat would go. I think the Heat would make it on top again. I mean, there's also the Nets, but I think the whole Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant duo is not going to work very well. I think they're going to go against Celtics in one of the rounds, and I think Celtics would come on top because you know Jason Tatum's going to be like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are gonna be even better, which I think would be enough to stop Kemba. I mean, would be enough to stop KD and Kyrie, and then the Heat on top. I think because losing Hayward, Hayward almost got us. I mean, made us lose a couple of games in
Yeah,
the series.
he scored a couple bombs.
So I think if they lose Hayward and don't get anybody to fill in that spot there for him, I think the Heat would come on top, and it would be a rematch of last year.
Yeah, you think it'd be Boston against Heat again?
Yeah, no, that for sure. I mean, if not, then it's gonna be Heat and Brooklyn because I think it's gonna be the rankings are gonna be Bucks. I think the Nets are gonna get the second seed, so they're on the opposite, and then we're gonna end up in third or fourth with Celtics. You know, one of those spots, and the Raptors. And then we're gonna be third, fourth, or fifth seed, kind of a thing again.
Yeah, I'm not expecting like first or second. I could see.
Oh no.
I'd be surprised if we got six. I could
Mm-hmm.
again because we don't. As long as we get to the playoffs, we don't care. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
If we get in, we get in, and then the playoffs when we shine. I saw in a game on mic'd up, the NBA mic'd up. They put a mic on Butler or Iguodala one day, and it was Iguodala talking to Jimmy Butler, and it was like, "Hey yo, when they doubt us is when we shine brightest. Let's get it." And so like as long as we get in, if people start doubting us, that's when we're gonna shine brightest. So yeah, I think I could see coming out with the Heat. Who do you think would win? If assuming they lose Gordon Hayward, which is probably what's gonna happen here.
I think the Heat would come on top. Honestly,
Oh, um, I think for West, I could see Lakers and Warriors. Yeah, I see it. I see it. I feel like if it goes to six, if it's 6 games, it's gonna be the Lakers. If it goes to 7, I feel like it's gonna be the Warriors. But my heart prays that it's the Warriors because we can kind of if we get if we can probably try to lock
I
down
think
on Curry because they don't have really the best supporting roles on and get kind of not lock down Draymond because we don't really have to, but keep Draymond on control. It's just tough because for the Lakers and Warriors, it's going to be who it's do the Warriors score my 3 points, my 3 pointers, or do the Lakers drive in more? So I feel it's tough. I feel if yes 7, Warriors are taking it, but if it's in 6, it's Lakers. It's just I'm be optimistic. I hope it's the Warriors. I feel like Warriors might come out on top, and then for the East, Bucks they're gonna get knocked out. Like Bucks, I mean, yeah, they got Chris Middleton, they got Connaughton, and then Tupo, but like Giannis, he needs a better supporting cast. Giannis is probably gonna go out.
Mhm.
He's gonna realize that the Bucks aren't doing anything drastically different. They're not winning. And I don't
Mhm.
think Giannis minds getting paid less as long as he's on a winning team. If you're winning, you're winning. Um, the if the Heat to somehow get knocked out, I can see the Celtics with a really strong Tatum against the Nets. Hopefully not. I hopefully we get the. I can see the Heat against the Nets. I think because now that KD's back, I feel like they might make it a little better. But I feel like the Heat would come on top because KD get Bam on him. I think we just once we get that third piece, like you said, maybe Gallinari, we can cover Jared Allen, and then Kyrie probably on Butler or Dragic. Get a guard on him. I think he can make it again. And if it's the Warriors against the Heat, I have high expectations. I have high hopes. Uh, what do you think about the Warriors against the Heat? What do you think about
I think honestly, we'd have a better chance against the Warriors than instead of the Lakers. Because I mean, you have Butler blocking one. I mean, blocking one of the Splash Bros. You can have, I think, Bam, because I know Bam did a lot more blocking on guards this season. He put Bam on Klay Thompson probably, and then you have a Jay Crowder on Wiggins or Green, one of those two. I think that would be a good defensive lineup. I mean, what do they have to stop Bam? Honestly, I don't think if they're gonna have probably Green on Crowder or someone like that. I mean, I know that they have. I think their center's Marquis Chris. Uh, but let me make sure about that. I don't want to speak fact. I mean, that's to. Uh, yeah, I mean, they wouldn't be able to. I honestly don't think they would be able to stop Bam out of bio. That would be the clean thing because I know they're not big on centers, so Bam, if they're focusing on Butler, I think Bam would just go off and do good because I don't think we'd be able to rely on our guards because like if Hero's out there, Klay Thompson blocking, I mean like guarding him, it wouldn't go very well for us. So I think we can win against the Warriors more than instead
that?
if we go against the Lakers.
Because I think for sure defensively we'll shut them down. I could say. Um, but at the same time, offensively, it'd be kind of hard for us to score. But I think it'd be definitely easier for us to score than it'd be for them to score.
Mm-hmm.
If we're against the Warriors, I could say, I'd say Curry and Clay. If we get Curry and Clay to pop off only one game, we could get into 5. Maybe, but actually, no, 5 is that's 6. But
Okay.
considering who they are and they can pull off crazy shots, I say probably Heat in 7 or Heat in 6, one of those two. But I,
Okay.
I I just don't see the Warriors coming out on top only because of the lineup right now. Because Klay Thompson and Curry, like they need that like strong centerpiece. Like they had KD. Yeah, he's a great shooter, but he can drive in the lane. He's super tall.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really have someone that can drive in the lane on Bam or on Kelly or on Leonard or hopefully Giannis or Gallinari, whatever. They don't have someone that can drive in the lane on them. So I feel like if it's the Warriors, we could win it in. I wanna say 6 because I really hope so, but I feel like it's more 7.
Okay.
How many games do you think?
What if? Well, I think I agree with you on that. I think it would go to 7. Honestly, I mean the fact that it's Curry and Klay Thompson. I mean, even us doing good defense is them scoring 25 a
Yeah,
night, kind of a thing. So I think just because of how many shooters they have, especially that Wiggins is going to get better. Green, I mean, he's gonna be the glue to the team back again. So I think it'd go up to 7. So wait, what if the Lakers get through? How do you think it would go again? A rematch of the series.
A rematch. I feel if the Heat get a little taller of a team, I don't think. I think we just get Gallinari and let go of someone, or if we get him and let go of like a smaller guy, I think we'd still need one more person, a little taller guy, just to secure it. I feel like if we do win, it'd be in a game 7. I don't think we could win a game 6. I feel like we win in a game 7, and then if we win, if we win game 1, we could take it. We could win in a game 6. When we could go Heat in 6. But if we don't win game 1, I say Heat in 7. Assuming we have a guy like Gallinari or just a bigger guy. That's what I say. Facing the Lakers, but I can see the Heat coming on top. But at the same time, I can see the Lakers winning it too. So I hope Heat in 6. If we win game 1, if we don't, Heat in 7.
I agree with that. If we get that one more piece, whoever it is, I think the Heat would have, especially the fact that we had more injuries last time with Dragic. I think if we get that one more piece, whoever it is, like you said, maybe like a Serge Ibaka or a Gallinari. If we get one more piece like that, I think we can win in 7. But I would prefer to go against Lakers, honestly. I think, and I think it'd be a more exciting. I think it'd be a more exciting.
Oh, for sure.
More exciting to go against Warriors, and I think it would be better for us. You know, the fact just we don't have the big men for the. I mean, I think they're still gonna have McGee, Howard, and AD, and James' athleticism is basically a big man. So I mean, 4 big men on the court if they really wanted to do that.
Maybe like Schroeder as a shooter in the back.
And then exactly. I mean, I think I would prefer to go against Lakers.
And also that's the Lakers would have a defensive like field day.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like defensively those teams are kind of Heat and Lakers be kind of matched. I feel like offensively the height is where like the Heat fall short. If we had a bigger team, I think we could overthrow them. But yeah, next season is gonna be a great season. Like sure they don't have the best. This is kind of like a kind of weak free agency, but this is gonna be a hell of a season.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So it's fun, man. See you on the next podcast. All right.
You already know, for sure. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.